What's going on, guys? It's Steven from the BS Show, and let's talk about UFC 297, specifically that Dracus du Plessis versus Sean Strickland fight. It was an interesting one. The whole night of fights was kind of weird. There's some weird decisions, weird calls, and the card was not the best. Not worth that $70 or whatever it is now, $80 admission when you buy it on pay-per-view. So, a little disappointing in the card, but that main event was a barn burner, and the decision turned out to be a little controversial. Not a controversial in the way where people are like, oh, it's an absolute robbery, Sean Strickland should have won. But you have Dana White. Dana White always speaks his mind. He always is real with it, against people's feelings or not. And he said that he felt like Sean Strickland won, but he said everyone was split on it. It's just one of those fights that's razor thin. It probably should have been a draw, and Sean Strickland should have retained his belt. But Sean Strickland's a superstar right now, and people just want him to retain the belt and be champ. But that belt doesn't add any more star power to whatever Sean Strickland has going on. Like, whatever he has going on is beyond the belt. The belt is for people like Dracus du Plessis, who that is their identity. You know what I mean? They live that type of lifestyle where Sean Strickland's likable because he's just a maniac, and he happened to fall into the sport that he could release all that hurt and pain and everything inside, that the trauma from being abused by his dad and having to protect his mom when he was a kid, all that trauma inside, he gets to let it out inside that cage, and he gets to talk about it on a stage in front of many people who may relate. And I that's why we like Sean Strickland, because he's a real ass person. He's not fake. He doesn't come off like a John Jones where they're almost putting on a character. That is who Sean Strickland is, and he has a good heart. Despite all the stuff he says, you could tell he's a good person at the core. His just ideologies and views on the world are very, very strong and aggressive, and it could almost seem like he doesn't have control, or he's out of control, or kind of crazy, or like overly chaotic. But it's almost the opposite. Sean Strickland lives by like a man code. You know what I mean? You disrespect me, okay, we're doing the man dance, we're fighting. You treat me with respect, I'll treat you with respect. You see in the embeddeds when Dracus du Plessis walks up to him with his girl, Sean Strickland took off his hat, was super respectful. This is your lady. He's a nice guy, just damaged, like a lot of us are. He's a beautiful person. A little bit wild, a little bit crazy. Don't agree with a lot of things he says, but he's definitely fun to watch, and he doesn't need the belt to be a star. I mean, his whole stardom started to take off right before he even got that fight versus Izzy, and the fact that he beat Izzy is just like, it took him to a new level, and I've no doubt in my mind that Sean Strickland's gonna see that belt again. I mean, he has the rematch with Izzy. They're probably gonna do Izzy versus Dracus, or who knows, maybe they'll do the Dracus versus Strickland rematch. I keep seeing that online. Who knows? Whatever happens, I like Dracus. Through all these embeddeds and stuff, I'm like, oh, Dracus actually seems like a cool guy, but he's a little bit vanilla, a little bit boring. You know what I mean? A little bit too down the middle. I like my champion to be a little colorful and exciting, but that's just me. I'm a fan. But Dracus he's a good champ. He has the look, he's clean cut, good shape. He's all around a good fighter, great ground game. His striking is good. Yeah, it was a fun fight, and Dracus showed he could adapt. In that fight, he had to adapt because Sean Strickland was this landing those teep kicks and the straights and the jabs and just closing up Dracus's eye, and he had to make changes, So he did a good job. He's made out of that championship material where he adapted when and where he needed to, and it was a very, very razor thin, close fight. And I really had it going either way. And I knew it was going to be a split decision, and I almost always just feel like Like when they're that close, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a draw, especially if it's like split like that. But nope, they gave it to Drakus. I love to know what you guys think about that in the comments below. You think it should have gone to Drakus? I mean, I could see how they gave it to Drakus, but I'm kind of on the side of Dana White too. Like, you got to beat the champion. You can't like skirt by like that to win the belt. It just, I don't know. But I'd love to know what you guys think in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed the fights. Hope you guys had a good weekend. And until the next one, guys, peace.